The gentleman yields. I now recognize the chair of the full committee, the Honorable Chair Rodgers, for 5 minutes for an opening statement.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Administrator Regan. We appreciate you being here today to discuss the President's budget and priorities for the Environmental Protection Agency. This committee plays a critical role in ensuring U.S. energy and economic security and leadership. For decades, America has led the world in innovation and entrepreneurship while continuing to maintain the highest environmental standards in the world. We should be proud of this legacy and work together to advance smart policies that continue to build that legacy for generations to come. But sadly, what we see today is the administration is promoting policies that dismantle that legacy. The spending and regulatory policies continue to put America on a dangerous path that threatens our economic and energy security, while enriching our adversaries, like China, and making us beholden to them for critical materials. The Biden administration and its allies have done this in ways that lack transparency and prevent accountability for their actions that threaten American manufacturing and energy resources. It's not acceptable. Since President Biden took office, the EPA has been given over $109 billion in additional funding and grown its workforce to over 15,000 employees. President Biden's budget request for fiscal year 2025 contains almost $11 billion in new funding requests for EPA, an increase of more than 8% since the current year. It's over 16% since President Biden took office. Americans are already feeling the impacts of this agenda. Since the Biden administration took office, electricity prices have risen 30%. And really, it's energy prices that are driving inflation. And that's more than 50% more than that. Electricity prices are more than 50% than overall pace of inflation. Unilateral actions like those taken by the administration are driving out affordable, reliable baseload generation needed to keep energy prices low and the lights on. Grid operators and others have been sounding the alarm, warning that the U.S. is on a dangerous and unsustainable path. Continuing this trend will mean higher prices, and what the grid experts have warned the committee about, catastrophic blackouts. It's not the American way, and it doesn't need to be this way. In addition, the auto waivers for California and other allied states, as well as federal mandates on car makers, are taking away affordable and practical transportation from Americans. Ask any car dealer. Their lots are full of EVs that won't sell, and they have limited access to vehicle models people actually want. What we've seen is a record number of rules and regulations coming out of the EPA. Over 125 major rules, resulting in over $1 trillion in new regulatory cost on American businesses, and ultimately, that's on families. And as an elected representative of the people, I note that there's a lack of accountability to the elected representatives or the people as you continue to write record rules without input from the people or their elected representatives. And I continue to believe we must authorize the EPA. EPA has never been authorized by Congress. And perhaps that's where we should be starting, to get the EPA back on mission. EPA rules are a critical part. We've seen the new PM 2.5 standard. It's going to make permitting for manufacturing and development nearly impossible. I hope you've looked at the map. We're not going to be able to site a new manufacturing plant in the United States. And I want to understand why EPA thinks that the United States is going to be able to maintain our economic leadership with these anti-manufacturing, anti-American, really anti-jobs. You're taking away opportunities from people and making us more reliant on China. That's where we're going to go. That's where we are going. We are dependent on China. If we're really serious about growing our economy, and not China's, we need predictable and realistic regulatory environment. We need EPA to actually meet statutory deadlines for new chemical reviews. We need data-driven decisions that appropriately balance a healthy environment and a healthy economy. EPA must return to a position where they're accountable to the elected representatives of the people. That's our form of government. And it's key to American leadership, to the prosperity of the people that we represent, and driving down cost for Americans. I look forward to discussing how we can work together to ensure this, and I yield back.